Imagine a couple, married 38 years. The husband claims Social Security at 62 because his neighbor told him it was the smart move. Get your money while you can. He locks in $1,960 a month. 12 years later, at 74, he dies. His wife lives another 15. And every single month for the rest of her life, her Social Security check is permanently capped at that number he chose back when he was 62, instead of the $3,472 he could have set up for her by waiting just 8 more years. Over those 15 years of widowhood, the difference is roughly $272,000. She never sees that number on a spreadsheet. She just notices in her late 70s that the math is tighter than she expected. That happens because of a rule almost no claiming age video walks couples through. When one spouse dies, Social Security pays the survivor the higher of the two benefits. But the higher earner's claiming age permanently sets the ceiling on what that surviving spouse will ever receive. Most couples make this decision based on personal break-even math. Then one of them dies, and the survivor learns, 15 years too late, that the decision was never personal. It was a household decision the whole time. If you're between 58 and 66, married, and you've been thinking about Social Security as your own individual call to make, Walter needs to stop you for the next 20 minutes. In this video, Walter is going to walk you through exactly how the 3 claiming ages, 62, 67, and 70, actually work in 2026. The math on a real couple making this decision right now, and what the difference is worth to them. The survivor benefit rule that changes everything once you understand it, and to make it stick, you'll see a 1-page checklist at the end you can take to the kitchen table tonight. Here is what you are going to learn in the next 20 minutes. How Social Security actually adjusts your monthly check at the 3 claiming ages, and what the real 2026 numbers look like, not the rough percentages most articles throw at you. Why the standard break-even calculation, you come out ahead at 78, so do whatever, it's a wash, is the single most misleading idea in retirement planning. The household coordination strategy that nearly every advisor underexplains, where the higher earner's claiming age sets the survivor benefit for whoever lives longest. A real case study of a couple, Tom and Linda, running the math on 3 different claiming scenarios with the exact 2026 figures, so you can see where the 6-figure difference actually comes from. And one more thing, there's a tax side gotcha Walter is going to layer on near the end that changes the answer for some of you. Stick around for that, because if you skip it, the math in this video gives you the wrong recommendation. Picture a highway. You're driving it for 40 years. The destination at the end is retirement. There are 3 exit ramps. One is labeled 62, the next 67, the last 70. Each ramp drops you onto a different road. Each road has a different monthly check waiting for you, and you drive on that road for the rest of your life. You don't get to merge back onto the highway once you've taken your ramp. There is exactly one narrow do-over rule, and we'll touch it briefly. But for practical purposes, the exit you choose is the road you're on. Most retirement videos treat this like a personal decision. Which exit is right for you? And they walk you through your own life expectancy, your own break-even age, your own situation. That's fine if you're driving alone. But most of you aren't driving alone. There's a passenger in the car, and the exit you take doesn't just decide your road, it decides theirs too, for the rest of their life, even after you're gone. Hold on to that image. We are going to come back to the passenger in a minute. First, the 3 ramps. Exit ramp number 1, claiming at 62. 62 is the earliest you can claim retirement Social Security. If you take it the month you turn 62, you accept a permanent 30% reduction from what you would have received at your full retirement age, which is 67 for anyone born in 1960 or later. 30% off. Forever. No do-overs after 12 months. In 2026, the maximum benefit available at age 62 is $2,969 a month. That's the ceiling. and only about 1 in 5 workers ever hits the wage cap long enough to qualify for it. The average retired worker is collecting closer to $2,076 a month. There's one more catch here. If you claim at 62 and you're still working, even part-time, Social Security applies an earnings test. In 2026, if you're under your full retirement age all year and earn more than $24,480, the Social Security Administration withholds $1 for every $2 you make above that. You get it back eventually, but in the moment, it's a cash flow hit that surprises a lot of people who thought they could claim and keep working. Why does anyone take Exit Ramp 62? Because it pays now. Because life expectancy is uncertain. Because some people genuinely need the income. It's not always wrong, but it is almost always misunderstood. Exit Ramp number 2. Claiming at full retirement age, 67. 67 is your full retirement age, your FRA, if you were born in 1960 or later. At FRA, you receive 100% of what Social Security calls your primary insurance amount. No reduction, no bonus. The benefit they calculated for you when they ran the formula on your 35 highest earning years. In 2026, the maximum benefit at FRA is $4,207 a month. For someone who earned an average of $80,000 a year for 35 years, the actual number is more like $2,600 to $2,800. This is the default sensible answer, the one your HR person quietly nods at, the one your accountant says is fine. And for a lot of people, it really is fine. Here is what gets missed. People get to 67, claim because the calendar says so, and never check whether waiting 3 more years would have been the household optimal move. They treat FRA as a finish line. It isn't. It's a checkpoint. There is a third ramp. Exit Ramp number 3. Claiming at 70. Every year you delay claiming past your full retirement age, Social Security adds 8% to your benefit. They call them delayed retirement credits. From 67 to 70, 3 years. That's a permanent 24% increase on top of your FRA amount. Compounded, the check at 70 is roughly 76% larger than the one you'd take at 62. In 2026, the maximum benefit at age 70 is $5,181 a month. That is the ceiling on Social Security in this country. There is no benefit to waiting past 70. Delayed retirement credits stop. So 70 is a hard upper boundary, not a later is always better curve. The case for 70 is straightforward in theory and hard in practice. In theory, if you live to a normal life expectancy, the higher monthly check more than compensates for the 3 years of missed payments. In practice, delaying for 3 years requires having other money to live on, which is a privilege a lot of households don't have or don't think they have. Now, every video and advisor walks you through the same calculation. Your break-even age between claiming at 62 and claiming at 70 is somewhere around 78 to 82. If you live past that, you come out ahead. If you don't, you don't. The math is correct. The framing is wrong. Here is the part most people get wrong. Break-even math assumes you are the only person whose lifetime matters. It treats Social Security like a personal investment with a personal payoff. But Social Security isn't only about you. It's about whoever ends up alone in the house, and that is rarely the higher earner. This is the section the entire video has been building toward, so stay with this. When one spouse dies, Social Security does not pay both checks to the survivor. The survivor receives the higher of the 2 benefits, not both stacked. So if the husband was getting $3,400 and the wife was getting $1,500 after he dies, she gets $3,400. Her own check stops. Now here is the rule that changes everything. That survivor benefit is based on what the higher earner was receiving, or would have been receiving, at his death. Which means the higher earner's claiming age permanently sets the survivor benefit floor. And critically, delayed retirement credits, the 8% per year for waiting past FRA, pass through to the survivor. In plain English, When the higher earner waits, both of them get a bigger check while both are alive, and the lower earning spouse keeps that bigger check for the rest of her life if he dies first. Which, statistically, he probably does. Women outlive men in the United States by roughly 5 to 7 years on average. Same household, same lifetime contributions. The higher earner's claiming age decides whether the surviving spouse spends her 80s with a $1,960 check or a $3,472 check. That is the household math, and most retirement videos won't tell you about it. Quick pause. If what Walter's walking through is landing for you, if you're recognizing your own household in any of this, hit subscribe. YouTube does not push retirement content unless viewers actively tell the algorithm it's worth pushing. Subscribing is how this kind of analysis reaches more couples who are about to walk into the same exit ramp without seeing it. Now, back to the math. Meet Tom and Linda. They live outside Cincinnati. Tom just turned 62. Linda is 60. They've been married for 36 years. They're going to make this decision in the next few months, and Walter wants you to write these numbers down because they're going to matter in a minute. Tom worked in mid-level operations for the same employer for most of his career. Final salary, $90,000. His Social Security benefit at his full retirement age of 67 would be $2,800 a month. Linda worked in healthcare administration, with several years out to raise kids. Final salary, $52,000. Her Social Security benefit at her FRA of 67 would be $1,400 a month. Family health history matters here. Tom's father died at 78. His mother is still alive at 84. Linda's mother is 88 and gardening every week. The actuarial reality: Linda is statistically very likely to outlive Tom by at least 7 years. Combined retirement savings, $750,000. Target spending, $80,000 a year after tax. They've got a paid-off house, no pension. They have 3 scenarios in front of them. Let Walter walk you through all 3. Scenario A. Both claim at 62. Tom claims at 62. He accepts the 30% reduction. His monthly check is $1,960. Linda claims at 62, 2 years from now. Her reduced check will be $980 a month. Combined household Social Security, roughly $35,280 a year, starting now-ish. They get to retire fully right now. They start traveling at 62. They feel financially safe. They've heard the "get it while you can" line, and it makes intuitive sense to them. What they have actually done is locked in a $1,960 ceiling on Linda's survivor check. When Tom dies, and the actuarial tables say that's around 80, Linda's monthly Social Security will be permanently $1,960 for the rest of her life. Not $2,800, not $3,472, $1,960. Scenario B. Both wait to FRA at 67. Tom and Linda both wait. They draw from their $750,000 in savings for the bridge years between 62 and 67, which means heavier withdrawals from their tax-deferred accounts during those years. At 67, Tom's check is $2,800 a month. At 67, 5 years later, Linda's is $1,400, combined, $4,200 a month, or $50,400 a year, a 43% increase over Scenario A. When Tom dies, Linda's survivor benefit is $2,800, Tom's FRA amount, already better than Scenario A by $840 a month, or about $10,000 a year. Scenario C. Linda claims at 62. Tom waits to 70. This is the coordinated household strategy. Linda claims at 62. Her smaller benefit is reduced to $980 a month, modest income flow starting now. Combined with savings withdrawals, they cover their spending. Tom waits all the way to 70. He earns delayed retirement credits of 8% per year from 67 to 70. His benefit at 70 is $2,800 times 1.24 equals $3,472 a month. From age 70 onward, their combined check is $3,472 plus $980 equals $4,452 a month, $53,424 a year, slightly higher than Scenario B. Now here is where Scenario C separates from the other two. When Tom dies, say at 82, Linda inherits his $3,472 monthly benefit. Her own $980 stops. She keeps the larger of the two. If Linda lives to 90, that's 8 years of widowhood, receiving $3,472 a month instead of the $1,960 she would have received under Scenario A. The difference, $1,512 a month times 12 months times 8 years equals $145,152. Add the higher household income while Tom is alive, roughly another $40,000 over those 12 years versus Scenario A. And Tom and Linda are looking at a total household difference of more than $180,000 between Scenario A and Scenario C. Same two people, same earnings histories, same total contributions over 38 years. The only difference is the order and the age each one chose to walk down the exit ramp. Same accounts, same lifetime contributions, different order, 6 figures. Here is what gets lost when this gets treated as a math problem. The years Tom and Linda gain or lose by claiming wrong are not all the same years. The travel money they leave on the table by waiting too long is money they'd have spent in their 60s, when their bodies still want to travel. The survivor check Linda loses by Tom claiming too early is money she'd have needed in her 80s, when she needs help around the house and the heating bill has gone up. Same 6-figure mistake. Different decades it lands in. Different lives it affects. That is why Walter keeps saying this is not optimization, it is protection. Now, here is the part most retirement videos won't tell you. Even if you and your spouse run all 3 scenarios perfectly, the IRS still gets to weigh in on which one actually wins. Here is why. Up to 85% of your Social Security benefit can become taxable federal income, depending on what Social Security calls your combined income. Your adjusted gross income plus any tax-free interest plus half of your Social Security benefits. The thresholds are $32,000 and $44,000 for a married couple filing jointly. Above $32,000, up to 50% of your benefits become taxable. Above $44,000, up to 85% does. Those thresholds have not been adjusted for inflation since the 1980s. Read that twice. The dollar amounts that decide how much of your Social Security gets taxed are 40-year-old numbers being applied to 2026 incomes. Every year, this drags more retirees into the trap. And it gets worse. There is a second landmine called IRMAA, the income-related monthly adjustment amount on Medicare premiums. Once your modified adjusted gross income crosses certain thresholds, your Medicare Part B and Part D premiums step up in tiers. $1 over a threshold can cost you hundreds of dollars per month per person. IRMAA looks at your tax return from 2 years earlier, so a higher Social Security check in your early 70s can quietly raise your Medicare premium when you turn 73. Here is the connection, back to claiming. The larger your Social Security benefit, the harder it is to stay under those combined income thresholds. Scenario C, Tom waiting to 70 to maximize the household benefit, produces the highest gross income. It also produces the highest tax exposure. For some couples in some tax positions, the optimal claiming math from Section 5 quietly flips once you factor in the federal tax bite plus the IRMAA tier jumps. This is not a reason to claim early. It is a reason to do this with the full math on the table. The right claiming age isn't the one that maximizes your gross check. It's the one that maximizes your after-tax, after Medicare premium check. That is why just delay until 70 isn't always the right answer. What decides whether it's right for you is not Social Security. It is the rest of your tax picture. Here is the simple routine Walter wants you to walk through this week. Maybe at the kitchen table with a cup of coffee, maybe with a tax-smart planner. 7 steps. 1. Go to ssa.gov and create a My Social Security account if you don't have one. Pull your benefit estimate at 62, at your full retirement age of 67 and at 70. Both spouses. Get the actual numbers, not your guesses. 2. Look at your earnings history on that statement. If there are missing years, a job you held that doesn't show up, get it corrected now. A missing year can permanently reduce your monthly check. 3. Identify the higher earner. That is the one whose claiming age sets the survivor floor for the household. Plan that decision first. The lower earner's decision is secondary. 4. Look at family health history honestly, not what you want to be true, what the family tree actually shows. If your higher earner has a long-lived family, delaying to 70 gets stronger. If they don't, the math shifts. 5. If the higher earner can possibly delay to 70, model that scenario before defaulting to anything else. Run the numbers on Linda's situation under both Scenario A and Scenario C. The survivor difference is usually the largest single number in the analysis. 6. Layer in the tax picture. Run Social Security taxation thresholds, $32,000 and $44,000, combined income, and current IRMAA tiers against your projected income. If you have large traditional IRA balances, factor in Roth conversions in your 60s as a way to reduce both future RMDs and future taxable income. 7. And if you forget the other 6, keep this one. Social Security is not a personal decision. It is a household decision. Whatever exit ramp you take, the passenger in the car is taking it with you. Yes, this sounds like a lot, but once you do it once, the math is done. The decision doesn't have to be remade. Look, claiming Social Security is not really about Social Security. It is about who gets to decide how your household is supported when one of you isn't there to make decisions anymore. You, today, with the math in front of you. Or a version of you who picked the easy ramp because the neighbor said so. That is not optimization. That is protection. If this helped, do 3 things for Walter. Hit that like button so more people in your age range see this. Subscribe to Walter Explains Retirement so you don't miss the next deep dive. The Rule of 55 video is coming next, and it will change how some of you think about retiring before 60. And in the comments, type the word claim if you want Walter to do a follow-up on the survivor benefit math, specifically when one spouse has a much shorter life expectancy than the other. I'm Walter. Your money is important, but your time and your health are priceless. Use the rules to your advantage, not theirs. I'll see you in the next.